Have you ever sat in front of your portrait and you're like, oh my God, where do I begin? What do I do? How much paint should I use? What type of paint should I use? What should I paint? It's 1,001 things going on. So many things happening, things rolling and scrolling in your head every day. It's so hard to pinpoint what you should even do, right? So today, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips on how to get a portrait nailed in every single time, just to save you some headache. Let's get into it. So tip 1, you guys, get your reference together. Figure out what you're going to paint. That's the first thing, right? Is the planning stage. We want to know, what are we doing? What direction are we going in? Think about your color palette, your references. I like to go to a website called unsplash.com, as well as Pixabay and all the other things. There's a lot of copyright-free reference photo websites for free out there that you can find a lot of different references. Of course, we always do the go-to kind of Pinterest and all that, right? But, that's not copyright free. So you gotta be careful when you use those particular websites. But most importantly is the planning stage. Figure out where you're going with your portrait. That has been the most important thing for me when I started my career. Number 2, once I figure out, I sound like a game show. Once I figure out where I'm going with my portrait and I have everything planned out, I start to mix my colors, mix my palette. This is going to get us set up for success once we start jumping into the painting phase, especially, you guys, if you're using acrylics, because acrylics is like super duper dry and it like you could blow on it and it wants to dry in mid-sentence. If you're using oils, it is still a handy situation because you want to be prepared beforehand. I like to always pre-mix my stuff so that I have every color laid out and I'm not confused and laying down weird colors as I flow through my portrait. Number 3, layers, you guys. Layers are super duper important in the process of painting. The layers will get you where you want to be. I say this all the time in every single portrait. I know you guys are like tired of me saying it, but I say it every single time. If you want a beautiful portrait, you need to do layers, right? Especially if you're trying to go for realism. I can't tell you how many times I see people quit in the middle of the ugly stage, or you'll do one layer, ends up streaky and weird and all the things, and then you're frustrated with where things are going. So you definitely want to take your time and make sure you're creating lots of layers. At the minimum, I like to do 4 or 5 layers on a portrait, but if you want to go hyper realism, you can keep going. So number 4, speaking of layers, if you want things to look realistic, right, beyond the layers, you need to let things dry, right? You have to give things time to kind of do its thing, even with acrylics. See, acrylics is a tricky beast, okay? Because it seems like it's super dry, but as soon as you try to add another layer before that bottom layer is dry, you'll just dig a hole in the middle of your painting. Or you'll be like me, where I actually finished a whole commission and thought my layers was dry, added the varnish, and boom, the whole painting started to bleed. Doom, doom, doom. That was an expensive mistake, honey. So don't be like me. Number 5, make sure you are painting the eyes. I know it's weird, right? It's a weird tip, but I found this is super important. Again, I'm giving you the blueprint, you guys. Make sure y'all taking notes, okay? I'm giving you the blueprint here. Pretty much, you need to make sure that when you're painting eyes, you need to make sure that you're painting them together because they are a pair, right? And it doesn't matter whether the person has like weird eyes or maybe they're not always symmetrical. That's not the point. The point is you want to paint the eyes together so that you can capture the essence of whatever person you're trying to do. And that way they are symmetrical for each individual. And that's it for today's video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed our little paint sesh chat and all the things. And you know what it is. If you want to support the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/creativegirlofcolor. I just launched a new tier where I'm going to be talking all about coaching. I'm going to be coaching you guys if you need that extra little bit of help with drawing and all the things, and you want to get some insights, get at me on Patreon. And that's it. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.